you would think that Mary Simon's $342,000 salary would buy her some decent clothes.
Wait. What'd you just say there? How much are they paid per year?
Well, her salary is $342,000. So you would
Okay.
think that this would buy her some decent clothes, but it doesn't seem to be enough.
This is the Canadian Taxpayers Federation podcast, where we're dedicated to lower taxes, less waste, and more accountable government. I'm Chris Sims. I'm the Alberta director for the CTF. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Nicolas Gagnon. Nicolas is holding down the fort for us as the Quebec director for the Taxpayers Federation. Now, Nicolas, one of our favorite topics to talk about is, of course, wasteful spending here in Canada. And you don't get ritzier or more royal when it comes to wasteful spending than the Governor General and Rideau Hall. You and I were laughing about the ridiculous airplane food bill. So around $100,000 that they actually racked up on airplane food, including things like beef Wellington and beef Carpaccio, stuff we can't pronounce. And then also there was the ridiculous costing that was going into renovating Rideau Hall to make it look more like, an astronaut control panel. The list goes on. But there's a new one. Folks, sit down if you're not already sitting down. There's a new expense scandal happening at Rideau Hall, and it involves wardrobe, clothing. Nicolas, what is going on?
Well, I think I speak for many taxpayers if I say that I'm not surprised, but definitely disappointed. At a time where so many Canadians are having a hard time paying their electricity bills, for their groceries, or even to buy something to wear, it is revolting to see that they are paying for the Governor General's clothes. Thanks to a report that was made public by the National Post, we know that since 2017, Julie Payette and her successor, Mary Simon, have expensed nearly 200 clothing items with price tags ranging from $3,000 for a black velvet dress with silk lining purchased by Julie Payette in 2018 to $18.95 white gloves purchased by Mary Simon in 2022. And their expenses also include a $680 top, $590 dress pants, $160 scarf, and a pair of boots worth $1,064.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And that doesn't stop there. I mean, since 2021, Mary Simon's clothing expenses alone have cost taxpayers over $37,000. I don't know a single Canadian family that would spend so much for their clothes. Indeed, just to put it in perspective, an average Canadian family would spend $16,200 for their groceries in 2023. Double that amount, and you barely cover the Governor General's expenses for their clothes over the last year and a half.
Man, that is an awful lot of money. Now, I got to weigh in here. Like, as a woman, okay, I get it. You cannot be pictured in the same, gray blazer and white dress shirt that a dude can. Sorry, just going to say it. I get it. You are, the Crown's representative here in Canada. You have to dress formally. But my goodness, no, you do not need to spend $600 on a pair of pants and more than $1,000 on a set of boots. Come on, ladies. So what are they saying when it comes to these expenses? Are they justifying them?
Well, that is the most astounding. Actually, the Governor General's office tries to justify its expenditures by implying that these clothes are necessary for her to perform her duties. So you would think that Mary Simon's $342,000 salary would buy her some decent clothes.
Wait. What'd you just say there? How much are they paid per year?
Her salary is $342,000. So you would think that this would buy her some decent clothes, but it doesn't seem to be enough. And here's the thing: the Prime Minister and most of his cabinet have not expensed any clothing to taxpayers since 2017, except for maybe two exceptions, like the former Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould, who expensed lawyers' robes in 2017, and Minister of Sport Pascal Saint-Onge, who expensed steel-toed boots earlier this year. So just in other words, Mary Simon spent more on clothing over the last 2 years and a half over the last 2 years than half of the parliament combined over the last 6 years. And it doesn't stop there. Since 2021, the Governor General can spend up to $130,000. So $130,000 in expenses for their 5 years mandate. This privilege has to go. The CTF has previously led the fight to force the Governor General to proactively publish their expenses and reduce the cost of their meals on the plane. This time, we want nothing less but to put an end to this policy that allows Governor General to bill taxpayers for their clothes.
This is so much money, and we gotta stress. So this is not somebody who's picking up part-time salaries here. This is $340,000 that this person is earning. All their other expenses that you can imagine, things like, your power and your travel and all of that, that's all paid for. So for the regulars of us, all those expenses we have every month in our households, that's covered. So this is a really outrageous expense to be having on top of this huge salary. And did I read that right? When you sent me that note, did the Governor General actually get a pay hike too?
Yeah, actually, I said $342,000. That was her salary before, but this has actually changed. Everyone knows that the Governor General work very hard and deserve a salary increase for their sweat and tears. But I'm sarcastic, but sadly, the news is still real. According to information that we obtained from the Privy Council Office, the Governor General Mary Simon will take home this year $351,600 in salary overall. That's a pay bump of $9,500 since 2022. It's also a pay bump of $48,800 higher than the Governor General's salary that in 2019. So prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. This salary increase is simply added altogether to the long list of all the other privileges available to the Governor General, such as a luxury airplane meals, a taxpayers paid wardrobe, and a pension of $150,000 per year until 6 months after life. Does the Governor General really deserve or need this salary increase? Of course not. And is the Parliament doing anything to cap the salary or the Governor General privileges? Sadly not. But this is why the CTF is working hard to expose those ludicrous expenses and salary hike and mobilize taxpayers across the country to pressure federal politicians to cut the Governor General's lavish privileges. And so far, we have done a lot of noise.
Have we ever been making a lot of noise? Nicholas, thanks for bringing our viewers and our listeners up to speed on this. Folks, if you're sitting there wondering how you're going to make month end, if you're running a small business, if you're wondering how you're going to afford the carbon tax on your farm or your big rig diesel truck, or just how you're going to be able to afford groceries for your family, and you're frustrated about governors generals blowing this kind of money on fancy wardrobe, all while being paid more than $340,000 per year, go to our website, taxpayer.com, sign the petition against these lavish expenses at Rideau Hall, join the fight.